Mitchell.
And I'm Leandra Banks.
And today we're going to talk about community involvement, all about giving back to your community.
Yep. It's always best as young adults to learn different ways to give back to your community, even if that's going to a Salvation Army or homeless shelter.
Right, or it's just being a listening ear, helping hand, donating, helping out charities, feeding the homeless, anything like that.
Yep. Community involvement is not just giving back to your community, but it's also teaching your community different lessons that you have learned, helping out people that are younger than you, helping out people that are older than you. There's a lot of different ways you all can give back to your community, and it's also a good feeling to have personally.
Me, I know personally, like, how I give back oftenly is like advice. If a friend calls me or someone in need, I'll give them advice no matter what time of the morning it may be. I'll always just try to give back and just, be a helping hand to those in need and, just support them, because I would want the same support if I was in that situation. I also visit, homeless shelters and just talk to them and see what they're going through. And if there's any way I can help them, whether it's a shirt off my back or anything, I'll just do so.
Yep. So giving back to your community is a wonderful and beautiful thing. We hope you guys give back to your community, and we're going to take a look at some of the things that we have done to make our community a better place and give back to our community.
Definitely. Hope you enjoy it.
See you soon.
Today, the Katie Abel Foundation will be shooting a documentary about their foundation and what they do, which you all were here for the first, well, some of you. Taisha wasn't because she was new, about fiscal responsibility.
Civic involvement, spirituality. We already pretty much talked about leadership and entrepreneurs.
So what do you guys plan to do when you get to college? Because there's a lot of things that happen when you go to college. Like, people will try to make you sign up for credit cards. They'll try to make you get all these different kinds of things like that. So how do you guys plan to deal with that when you go to college? And what are your steps for getting into college? Because college is expensive, really expensive.
I just say no to credit cards until I feel like I'm ready, which probably won't be until I finish college. And as far as getting into college, I probably looking to research different programs to see who would provide better financial aid for me.
For those that necessarily don't have a plan when you leave, I didn't have a plan when I left either. So when I left, I kind of was just leaving on a whim. Like, I know I was starting school. I started school that very same Monday. When I left school that Thursday or Friday, I started school that Monday. So that's something that I was prepared for, but that was because Job Corps helped me do that. Luckily for me, I was blessed. I started school that Monday when I left, and I was blessed to find the Katie Abel Foundation that month after I left Job Corps. But that came from me hitting the pavement and asking questions and finding different resources and utilizing the information that I knew and utilizing the information that I took from Job Corps.
It's like a growth experience.
Right.
You can actually get something from it and better yourself from it.
Right.
So I think that's important to show as well.
So recently here in Prince George's County, taxes have been raised. So how do you think that this has helped the people of Prince George's County, with many of them struggling already?
I mean, it's a good question. I just left a delegation meeting of our representatives in the State Assembly, in the House, and the Senate. And we were talking about ways to bring revenue, which are taxes, back to Prince George's County. Mm-hmm. I support the gasoline tax here in Maryland. One of the reasons I support it is because that's money that we can get back to the county that will help us build the roads and the infrastructure to attract businesses. So I'm down here at the state right now telling them, give us the money we need to invest in the county.
Right.
One of the things that I've made sure as county executive, I said we would fund our public safety and our education system. Now, it does mean that our school system hasn't been able to give out raises for their teachers, but we've been able to stop the firing and layoffs of teachers, and do modest investments.
My aspirations are to help young girls from the age of like 13 and up. I just think about how I was when I was a young girl and the troubles that I faced and, you know, the thoughts that I had and not really being able to express myself or feeling like I had nobody to talk to. So in that sense, that's what I aspire to do. Just give girls a sense of hope and relief and let them know that, you know, just because we're here doesn't mean this is where we have to stay. You know, there's so many other things out here for us, and we need to utilize the resources that we have and grow, you know, and not be the stereotype or the typical girl that someone would think you are. You know, just go be up and beyond what you thought you could be.
One of the things that I really love about the Katie Abel Foundation is the program that they're doing with Prince George's County Schools. I think that's a tremendous asset. I think it's a program of financial literacy that should be replicated throughout the school system and should be part of the regular curriculum. I deeply support their efforts to make it a part of the curriculum. And I think Katie Abel is well qualified and uniquely qualified to perform the duties necessary to help the school system implement that particular program.
I serve a couple of different roles. First of all, for our company, Dark Cars Automotive Group, I'm the vice president. I'm responsible for all the day-to-day operations of our 34 franchise privately owned auto dealership group. I guess it all started back in late 2008 with the financial crisis, because we are selling pretty much big ticket items. Without the availability for a consumer to finance it, it puts us in a problem for our retail sales and everything. We are independent businessmen and women. We pay for everything ourselves. We don't take $1 from the manufacturers nor the American taxpayers via government loans or anything. And what the manufacturers did was they went to the government, who appointed a car czar, and czars are put in for the purpose of bypassing Congress. And what they did was they assumed that dealers cost the manufacturers money, so they shut down a couple thousand dealerships across the country for absolutely no reason. In a free enterprise society, in capitalism, we have a right to be in business. The consumer should be choosing who they do business with and who they don't. It should never be left to government to decide who stays in business and who doesn't.
Our people are hungry. We can't wait on the government. I take my youth, we go and we meet with senators and congressmen, and we're waiting on a word to meet with the governor. I have some footage that I'm going to be sharing with our county executive. I'm asking that everyone, if you know of a family that is doing without, to please give. A lot of times they're not going to say anything. Just slide something under the door. Just turn your back.
My name is Patsy Williams Stewart. I'm the executive director of Each One Teach One. Each One Teach One is a 501c3 nonprofit. Our basic reason for being established is to serve the needs of our community. I am in the heart of one of the communities where the need is great. The community that I serve is the perfect example of what goes on when you are financially illiterate and how it impacts your whole life.
Yes, ma'am.
That's good. You got the film going?
The smell in here, the smell.
Please show this to the county executive to let him see how 240 of his families are living.
I'm Hillary Shane. I am a case manager for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. It's called ERAP with the Salvation Army. The program itself is actually funded through the DC Department of Human Services, and we assist DC residents with mostly with back rent assistance, so people who are behind in their rent, but also with security deposit and first month's rent. The idea is that we're trying to be preventing homelessness, or in some cases rehousing individuals and families who are homeless. You know, I have a lot of single mothers who will come in with families, and then I will have elderly people and people who are disabled, so it's a pretty big mix. Yes. You know, the biggest thing for me is the importance of being independent and taking responsibility. You know, with the 40 to 50-year-old mom is the head of the household, and you have a lot of 20-something kids who are living and still just depending on mom. But it's, you know, here's your opportunity. Learn how to take responsibility. Take on a bill, you know, so that you are so you learn how to pay that electric bill each month.
This building you probably saw was just built. We just moved in November of 2010. And here comes Elizabeth, and she's the one really to talk the most about it. But good morning. Elizabeth Kinney, our executive director.
Leandra Banks.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, nice to meet you. Good morning.
This is lunchtime, and every day, Monday through Friday, 11 to 12, we open for okay. So the chef and then the students back there, these are all the best students that I come there. They prepare breakfast, they prepare lunch. So they can get bag lunches, they can get a hot meal, they can also get bag lunches. And this is Monday through Friday, so it's a great one. But yeah, it's set up like a library, so if they want to check out library cards and sign it to our staff up front and they bring it back. It's like a regular library. Wow. But we'll do small sessions in here. We'll just do small focus groups, small process groups. But really this is, like I said, if a client's in crisis, this is the best place because as you can see when the door's shut, you hear nothing. So this is the only place in the building that kids don't come. A lot of support.
Okay, now. My team here, everybody paying? Okay, this, some of this, fix it up real good, whatever you want to add, set it up real, whatever. This, the USB, make 12 of those, and these platters. Then they can also get, what else is this?
Yeah, be careful, Ken. So this is the pantry expansion. Wow. It just started last week. It's going to take about a month. The whole goal is community clients are coming to get pantry bags, which is one of our programs. They can come and get pantry bags once a month. They'll be able to come, and this will be set up almost like a store. Wow. So we're going to have shelving. The volunteers will come, stock the pantry bags when the clients come. It's a little more private. Right now they come into the middle of the building. It's kind of done out in the open. And this will be a little more efficient. By the end of the month, it should be done. So, we've got restroom. Right. She also meets with them individually when they first come in. Almost like a college registrar. She goes over their schedule with them, helps them figure out what their needs are. Wow. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Good day.
This is the area room. This is where we do individual alcohol and drug assessments and therapy.
And this is alcohol and drug assessment.
Yeah, so you'll see, they're so pretty. They decorated this and they come in. Yeah, that's pretty. Wow. Very, very lucky. Yes. Mr. Kent, if you want to see, I was just showing this is the client's gym. We just finished this a few months ago. So we encourage them to do their physical activities. We also have basketball court
Hi, how are you?
Every other Wednesday, and does full health screenings for our clients.
Wow.
This is the wellness room. Take your analysis back here. Miss Michelle, the rest of the nurses come in here. This is their spot. What we've done in the meantime is this is our fresh market. So Monday through Friday, when they come in for hot lunch, the community clients can come in, and we have this stuff that they haven't brought the food over yet, but it's all this is filled with food. Oh, they've already gone. This is what's left. So fresh breads, meats, vegetables, produce from Whole Foods. Whole Foods is a huge provider for us. They are so supportive by real.
Real bad over there where she's standing.
They own
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Very little.
revamping the pants in the back. So.
Okay, they're from the Katie Abel Foundation, so they're learning more about the program.
Oh, great.
How we service our
What did I
clients.
say? Oh, for what, the needs?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, we find like a lot of men's clothing. A lot of men also work in restaurant biz. We just had a young gentleman come down this morning, and we didn't have the right black shoes for him. So so we put it down on a list, and then we hope that someone brings him some black shoes. I think he's size 10.5 or something. And then we tell him to check back with us.
I'm here.
Once you get that, you'll be overloaded with shoes.
Yeah.
We want to do it in
Thank
town.
you so much.
Kimberly
Thank
does
you.
the whole. Thanks, Miss Christine. This is cool. Yeah. So we're gonna go up the deck to your right.
So we're out in front of Shoppers helping out Men Amy Hire, Daryl Barnes, pass out health walk flyers for the health walk. Here you go. Thank you. Thank you. Health walk. The kids and the family.
It's everything's free of charge. It's free registration, but it's to help out in communities and things like that. Support.
They have different activities and stuff like that there as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You want one? Thank you.
Or hired to help out in the community, families in the community, everything's free of charge. It's free water. Support. Health walk. Health walk. Everything's free. Support the community. Everything's free of charge. Health walk. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a health walk.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Yep. You're welcome. Right here in my goal. See you there.
It's to support our community. Everything's free of charge. Just come out.
Thank you.
Walk,
Thank you.
exercise.
Thank you.
We're passing out Katie Abel stuff.
See, yeah.
And we're also passing out Men Amy Hire stuff. Collaboration with another nonprofit organization who teaches men how to be boys. I mean, boys how to be men. So that's what we're out here today doing. Back in front of Shoppers again for like maybe the third or the fourth day. And hopefully we'll get a big turnout.
Gotta get these people to come out. Speak it into its existence.
And what I'm going to be reporting on, it says thousands of debt cases dismissed. And it says thousands of pending debt collection cases was dismissed from Maryland District Court this week as part of a settlement between the state and 2 collection agencies. Do anybody know what a collection company is? So a collection agency is when you don't pay your bill, then the company sends this to another company and they try to collect on it. This company, LVNV, they've been falsely taking people to court. They've been buying debts and not having the proof that consumers owe a debt, but we really don't owe it. So the judge decided to kick out 3,564 cases out of court, which is a good thing. So y'all understand? Y'all get that? Okay, so yeah.
So there was no extra penalty for the company lying in court?
Well, they have to pay the state $1 million, and then they have to pay 6,000 consumers $3.8 million.
Oh, so the penalty was $1 million.
Right. So basically, this is why it's so important that you guys understand financial literacy. And some of you here today may not think that it's important, but in 2012, Wells Fargo was sued because they discriminated against our people. I don't call this a recession, I call it reality. This is how it's going to be. That's why you guys got to get up on your financial literacy skills. This is it.
My name is Kia Harris, and I'm doing an article on stock. U.S. stocks were in red Monday as investors digested a surprise drop in June retail sales. The decline came as many were expecting growth. So due to this unexpected drop, economists predict retail sales will fall by 0.2% in the month of July.
There have been many horror stories of big banks rigging and stealing customers' money and participating in many cover-up attempts in the disappearance of customer funds. There has been many arrests made because of people responsible for some of these scams.
My article is about the falling stocks. In my article, I learned that for the 7th consecutive Monday, a stock called by Dow Jones Industrial, their average started the week in a decline. The Dow fell in 49.88 points. This decline, among others, adds to the statistical proof that investors are still wary of putting their money into the stocks.
The article that I read was based on how interest rates have begun to drop, also how they are affecting savers and borrowers, both negatively and positively. Some elders, in order to get more income, are pushed into riskier investments such as stocks. Others buy annuities from brokers that are completely unsuitable.
So we got one big winner and 3 small winners because I was so impressed with everybody. That was real good.
So that brings us to my next question about the school you have being built or put it over in Africa. You want to tell us a little bit about that and how financial literacy may play a role over there as well as the United States?
The school we built in Zambia is going to be from the 1st through the 9th grade. And we also going to have extension where we go through the 10th and the 12th. We also have, with the fact that we're going to have exchange students program as well as teachers. The system that we're going to have is going to be American culture. We're going to have 2 systems of training as far as the literacy, as far as it's going to be Americanized as well as African. We have to have those 2 cultures trained. We're going to have educators from the university coming and cross-training. And the teachers in America is going to go over there as well. So the curriculum system that we're going to be using is going to be the same as we use in America, excuse me, but it's going to be better. Because what we're going to do, we're going to impact millions of people to come. Just like you will protect your mother. So we're going back to the motherland and take care of our mothers. And the school is going to be a stepping stone from one, get it started in Zambia, Africa. And then from there we're going to Kenya, and then we're coming to the United States.
Okay, I'm ready. How y'all want to get started? Herman Dawson, originally from Selma, Alabama. Went to Alabama State University. Major in political science and accounting. I've handled a number of criminal matters, first-degree murder cases, handled civil matters, all sort of personal injury kind of matters, breach of contract, zoning, handled family law matters, domestic violence, divorces, and I'm now judge in charge, the coordinated judge for the juvenile. And I handle all the juvenile matters, including the juvenile drug court that we handle run here. We also have in our juvenile drug court a GED program, such that any kid who's not in school, we're working with them to get their GED. And in addition to handling the regular juvenile docket every day, I do have some miscellaneous other matters, some family law matters, some civil matters, and some other criminal matters. And any given day, we may have an average of 50 plus juvenile cases on our docket every day. Probably growing up in Selma, Alabama, looking and seeing a number of the injustices that were taking place, that's what inspired me to go to law school. Being involved here in the community and recognizing that we need some additional diversity on the bench, I was asked to put my name in for a judgeship. And I think I really enjoy being on the bench because it gives me an opportunity to assist a number and help out a number of young folks coming into the court. It gives me an opportunity as a leader in the community to help with young African American attorneys who are looking to start their own practice and to mentor them. And I take great pride in work with a lot of them in the community.
And so we hope you all enjoyed today's show. Before we leave you, we must give you today's financial literacy tip, and that is what you give is what you will receive.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook and check out our Twitter at Katie Abel.
And until next time, I'm Zay Marshall.
And I'm Leandra Banks.